Hello, today I'm going to be talking about some new 3D printed part ideas that I have for the electric eel wheel 6. The first one of those is this guy, which is a yarn parker. So here's the yarn parker, and you just clip it onto the front of the case like that, and it's good to go. Now, there are several ways of holding yarn. I actually typically use the one where I just loop it around that front hook like that. I know that some people use the orifice hook and the magnets down here to hold it in place like that. Then some people will use a little dot of Velcro to hold their rovings in place, but the new one that I'm showing here today is just something that wraps around like that, and because it's very narrow in there, it tends to hold yarn. I don't think this design would hold very bulky yarn, but for finer yarn like this, it does a great job of holding it in place. Now, the next 3D printed device I made is actually a different version of the orifice reducer, and these have been around for a while. I think that Craft Me Happy actually in the community is the first one who came up with this design, and if someone else had this design first, I apologize. Hers is the first one that I'm familiar with. And basically these little grooves in the orifice reducer will hold the yarn. So I actually guess I have to break the yarn to get this eye on. So you'd normally be spinning the yarn with the orifice reducer in place. And the point of the orifice reducer is so that as it goes around, there's less yarn wobble, your yarn will wobble less, which is something that doesn't bother some people and they don't ever use the reducer, and other people it does bother, so I include a reducer. But this is a 3D printed one with these little grooves, and you can just sort of go like this and put the yarn through a couple of those, and it will definitely hold the yarn in place using an orifice reducer. So this yarn parker and this grooved orifice reducer are two files that I'll be releasing. So here's one I've never seen before. This is basically a cover that goes over the whole electric eel wheel 6, and the idea here is that as it's spinning, it's possible for maybe your cats or your kids to put their hand into the flyer while it's spinning, but this will sort of prevent, or at least make that more difficult. So all you do is you take it and you slide it over like this, and you can grab your yarn, and then there's some little holes in the side for different control access and the tensioner. Now, the way I created this is I designed a very simple, just a cylinder for the top piece and then a rectangular prism for the bottom piece, and sort of joined those together in a CAD app called Fusion 360. And then with that very simple geometry, I took it and made a Voronoi of this. So a Voronoi is basically this structure that you're seeing here with lots of sort of random shapes in a way that's fairly 3D printer friendly. Just a cool pattern, I guess I'll describe it. It's a mathematical algorithm, but yeah, I don't know how it's implemented. I just used a website called www.veronorator.com, and I'll have a link to these things in the website, but basically I exported the very simple geometry from Fusion 360 as an STL. Then I took that website that created this really pretty shape. Then I had to import that back into Fusion 360, and I removed the bottom and cut out a few holes like for the front of the flyer like this. I don't really think these are the best possible solutions, and I would love to see what others can take and improve on these ideas. I really love that there's a whole bunch of businesses out there that have been making parts for the electric eel wheels, and I don't make 3D printed parts other than to release free files. So those companies out there that do that, I think it's great. I don't want to take anything away from them, and I've got a page that I'll link to on my website that points to several of those. And if you're making 3D printed parts for the electric eel wheel and are interested in selling them, definitely reach out to me and I'll add you to that page. All the 3D printable files that I talked about today are on Printables and they're linked to in the description for this video, so go check those out. They're all freely available. And if you have any ideas on other parts you think would be good for the electric eel wheel community, definitely let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching.